making sure that the security of ourselves is our utmost priority. Yeah, not necessarily only what the states also can do for you.
Most definitely.
But we know definitely, as stated in the Constitution, the state has the foremost responsibility for maintaining law and order, so to speak.
Well, good morning to you and you out there listening to us.
They are watching.
Greetings from our flag bearer, Comrade Ivor Kobna Green Street. Fortunately for us, we've come out of a Congress and we appreciate the dealings of the party. But coming to look at the dynamics out there, the challenges Ghanaians are facing, including loss of lives day in, day out, you begin to wonder whether we've really elected leadership to take charge of this country that we believe in, or they're there to serve their own personal interest. On the issue of the carnage on our roads, I want to throw a challenge out there by first of all telling the viewers out there to consider the situation of we, the CPP, having elected someone who is physically challenged to lead the flag bearership of our party. And this is the person who has come out of a road traffic accident, as we are talking about. This happened in 1997, and up till today, we're still talking about the same thing. My dear comrade here, Jones, talks about the value of the Ghanaian life. Certainly, we haven't elected leadership that has taken the Ghanaian deeply into their hearts to deal with their concerns. Road carnage has become a daily occurrence. And as to whether, as I'm out here in the studios, whether I'll get back home safely, it's another challenge.
You will get back home safely.
Inshallah, if Allah wills.
Shukran.
Yes. Comrade out there, I'm not here to castigate anybody or to blame anybody out there. But I believe it's about time the very security agencies we put in charge to have oversight of our roads. The very drivers who have been mandated to carry us day in, day out, put a self-check on themselves. They need to understand that these are mothers and fathers of various people within our backgrounds. Of what use is it to overload a vehicle, knowing the vehicle is intended to take a lesser number? Like you rightly said, we must be a check on ourselves before we ask the security agencies to come on board and help us check anything that we see as wrong. Hence, it is about we taking the mantle to challenge drivers, challenge authorities, without waiting for someone elsewhere from somewhere to do that. Because you are a citizen who has life. If you don't take that charge to defend what you have, don't expect someone else to do it for you.
Okay, we're getting news, and we know that the media has reported this widely over the last 12 hours, that a spokesperson of a pressure group, the Progressive Nationalist Forum, that's Richard Nyama, has petitioned President John Mahama for the removal of the Electoral Commission chairperson, Mrs. Charlotte Osei. Richard Nyama says that Mrs. Charlotte Osei engaged in an unconstitutional behavior by holding another public office in addition to a role as EC pause. But we know the EC has come into sharp focus because of the committee that was put in place, for which now the Electoral Commission is expected to hold an emergency inter-party advisory committee meeting at its headquarters. Basically, it's to look at the extensive pressure that has been put on the committee following they now confirm that one or two names, or particularly one name, is said to have been or is a member of the NDC. The NDC formally says they didn't know about his nomination, but even if he was a member, he shouldn't have accepted. That sounds logical, is that not?
Yeah. Well, let me backtrack a little. With the road situation, just a minute.
No, we've moved on from there. Let's look at this,
okay,
because
right.
we're working.
Because I was talking about the issue of the.
You wanted to add something?
Yeah, the drivers themselves
okay.
complaining that anytime they even take their trucks to report problems on the metro mass, they report there's a case of no money. So it's one aspect also is about the maintenance of the vehicles. Anyway, let's move on from there. Well, as for the removal of the EC boss. When President Mahama removes one EC boss, another EC boss is going to come in.
That one, I just mentioned it just as in passing.
Yes.
What really I wanted us to focus on was about the IPAC meeting today as a result of the committee that was put together, for which we have some composite members of that very committee being questioned.
Yeah, Roland, you see, everybody who joins whichever committee, whether the person is a soldier or a policeman or whatever, security services, that person goes into a polling booth and that person votes. And people have choices. And so for me, the hula baloo about whether this is going to be that or this is neither here nor there, because we in the PPP initially were advocating for the national identification scheme.
You think that's at the bottom line of all?
That if we had that, after all, and is going to be something, an occurrence that will go on. It's not going to be a one-day stop-gap measure. You see, our citizens travel from here, carry their pregnant wives, ministers of state, members of prominent Ghanaians, carry their pregnant wives abroad to have children. Why? Because when the child is born in America or England, he gets citizenship. That is security. The person gets into the statistic. We know who he is. Here, we don't have anything like that. So we are always constantly depending on the EC to weed out ghost names. It is everywhere.
So that we can get access to cards to authenticate our nationality or identity.
So why don't we just take the bull by the horn? And you see, this national ID system is not a national thing starting from the top. It should start from the districts. What stops every district in this country getting six laptops and printers in 6 strategic areas? Education office, police station, hospital, district IRS office, district assembly office, and then market. Getting people sitting there on a daily basis with laptops, national service personnel who are in the registering on a daily basis. From the district, you have a regional data. The regional, you have the national data. It's as simple as that.
So you're saying it can be done?
It can be more than that. The only thing is that people are benefiting from ghost names. That's the result of national service. $87 million by Ghana City is gone. As we speak right now, the prosecution is still hanging in the air. You go to Ministry of Education, it is there. There are 90-year-old men who have won so much Yombo. Yombo is finished in West Africa. And they are sitting there and they are still there. They don't leave it for younger people to come into the business. And they are there. They won't leave. And the ghost names, you go everywhere there are ghost names in this country.
Yeah.
And the ghosts get paid faster than the living people. And so it is time. And subsequent governments have been enjoying this ghost name largesse because the money gets paid and it goes into somebody's pocket. There is no nation on this earth that is serious, that develops that proper statistics of its people. In America, when people vote, in the next 1 hour, we know who has won. Because 1 man per vote, your vote can even be brought onto your phone. Ghanaians use the latest gadgets, the smartest cars. Tell the car to go to Kintampo and the car will go on its own. You can sleep. It will take you there. We use the latest phones. The phone that can actually give you cough medicine when you cough. We like but why can't we think the latest thinking? By just bringing in the issue of just national
So you're saying it's doable?
It can be done.
By employing some of the simplest but the most sophisticated technology we have around.
How much would it cost?
I think I seem to agree with you on the number.
How much does it cost a district to buy 6 laptops and 6 printers?
No, it's not as easy. It's not as simple as that because you need to take people's biometric data and things like that. So laptop alone doesn't.
That's what I'm saying. But you see,
but you're just trying to simplify to see how it can be easy.
A picture can be taken of a baby. Another moment, you can have the ID printed or the counterfeit printed immediately there, like in the district hospital, the police station. Why? Because we always get issues. People are in remand in this country today because of false identity.
Yes.
Over 2-3 years.
Sure.
So
I've encountered some in some prison visits before in the past.
Because he goes there, he calls himself Joe Chaliwate instead of Kwame Anani. Because arrest is disgrace, that kind of stigmatization. It is time for us to stop behaving as though we are still living in the caves.
Mr. Bawa, all this is all the comments that he made is a result of all the things that have come about or passed on the last few days about the committee and all.
That is true.
And the PPP seem to have the policy and the strategy that we have a basic national identification system. We have it, we trust it, and all the underpinnings and animosity associated with elections will be bygones.
Roland, I beg to differ from the whole concept here. First and foremost, we gave authority to the Electoral Commission to take charge of election affairs. On what basis are they electing another 80-member committee? That is delegating the very authority we have given to them.
Well, the regulation setting up the Electoral Commission gives it the mandate to do
Yeah,
so.
but we already have an IPAC. What's the purpose of IPAC then?
Well, the IPAC is not an electoral commission body, is it? It's
But it was constituted with the help of the Electoral Commission.
Yes,
to help advise it on matters related to...
Are you saying
Yes.
that if the Electoral Commission wants to put together an election,
Yes.
it should still have in place the IPAC complementing its role?
Let me come in here. Let me come in here.
I think its role is more
to bring
more
a justification. If a job designed for 500 people is not doable by the so-called 500, you think an 80-member committee would do it? What would be the basis for doing it? If the 500-member
So your point
team,
is the committee is not necessary?
it is not necessary for now. If even the need be for a committee, it ought to go to Parliament, where we, the Ghanaian, who elected the people there, to authorize it and tell us the regulations upon which they're going to be working. We need to see rules of engagement.
But I'm saying that the regulations established in the Electoral Commission gives it the mandate to put together any other quasi-committee or body that will enable it to undertake its work.
Automatically, Mrs.
The
Charlotte
Electoral
is
Commission
telling
has
us
consistently said, following when the initial reports came out, and in its reply, that the committee was constituted to complement its actions and activities towards putting together the general elections in November.
when you begin coming out with a committee where people raise alarm bells, it automatically sends the signals that there is something wrong there. This is something we need to re-examine, and if there need be, call on the appropriate authority, if there need be Parliament, to help us, in selecting the very people and giving us criteria for their selection, rather than ad hocly picking from all angles to form up a committee where party members will be associated with a committee. That automatically makes it biased in its own.
Let me run this by you. The Deputy General Secretary of the NPP, Obi Boahin, seemed to suggest that the ruling NDC may have been behind all the names of the committee. I mean, as much as the NDC may dispute that, and also on the other side, they may think that the NPP's views are a bit unfair. It's at the heart of the debate about how the period or the electioneering prior to the voting in November is characterized by a lot more tension and animosity. Is it not the underpinning reasons why we're having all these criticisms?
Hence the reason why we of the CPP stock have said continuously, we have carried water, we have carried kerosene. We know the difference. It's about time to breathe the new air into the system. And the CPP is ready under a unified leader and the flag bearer. And inshallah, with your mandate, we will govern this country and make it what we ought to see as a country being governed.
We've tasted water, we take kerosene, so we should go for petrol or diesel.
It's about time to breathe some fresh air.
Okay. Now, the committee in itself, you have your views as party, the PPP, but the committee in itself and all the repercussions of the concerns that have been raised, what do you make of it?
Word committee comes, it just brings word KK and T, committee. They'll sit down, they'll go and sit down, talk, eat, and at the end of the day, it's the usual story.
Ghana.
If we don't have a credible voters register, the election is rigged from the beginning.
And you think that's the status quo now?
That is what it is. The election is messed up already. Whatever happens in this country, we can talk here till Jesus Christ comes back from heaven. It is not going to change. Unless we have a proper, credible statistic on which to use for Ghanaians to vote, I don't think that we are ready. I know it's unfortunate. I don't think Ghanaians on the whole are ready for change. Because if Ghanaians were ready for change, we won't be talking a lot in the studios. If Ghanaians were ready for change, we won't have all this hula baloo. People will just make up their minds. You go to the point and you realize that both NDC and NPP, we've had them for all these years. And it's the same thing morning, noon, and night. If Ghanaians were ready for change, we'll look for leaders who have got pragmatic, practical, working policies that can turn our lives around. I just want to chip this in. We went for the Amenfi West by-elections quite recently. And you go to a place like Samraboy that gives us cocoa and wood. And the road from Asenkroga to Samraboy,
terrible.
It's nothing to write home
I've been
about.
there severally.
More
than
you
3
have
times. I think
communities
5
like
times.
Woman No Good, Tulampine, Mumuni Camp. You get to the place and you look at, with all due respect, the people who are there, and these are Ghanaians. They told us, like a place called Sikanti, they told us plainly, hey, more money in Sikani and Tomamo. Governments in, government out have impoverished our people so much that when you give him 20 Ghana cedis, it looks like 2 million Ghana cedis to him. And to add to that, the people who are doing the cocoa, they are fed up with the cocoa because the rains are not even coming. And then they've gone to Galamsey. Roland, let me tell you, the Tunnel River, it is brown. The marine life is dead because of the cyanide deposits in the thing. And it will be shocking for you to note that even though the Chinese are digging the Galamsey in the place, it is the chiefs, politicians who are behind these things. The same with the Fulani herdsmen situation. At the end of the day, it's the Ghanaians who are behind what is going on, the destruction of our own country. And I'm saying that when we start eating our eggs now, the future is quite bleak for our children. Somebody said something that in Ghana, when you are born, in America, when you are born, because of your parents' social security, you have $1,200 to your credit. In Ghana, when you are born, you owe 3,000 Ghana immediately. You know, and you're not even a statistic because you don't even know where. So people are born in those villages, they die, nobody knows what happens to them. But people depend on these people's votes to come into power. When we need the power, like in 2000, I remember the NDC went to Koforidua Jackson Park. I see Nketiah and everybody knelt down on the stage to beg. Why were they begging? Why were they kneeling down on the stage and begging? They were begging because they want authority to govern. Then when they come into power, then they come and sit on our necks and tell us that we should tighten our belts.
You don't think if the PPP is voting in the party, they won't do that, right?
My leader has always been talking about incorruptible leadership. And that's the reason why...
Papa saying
yes, incorruptible leadership. Incorruptible leadership, when you are a leader and you make sure that the other people around you are satisfied, the pressure doesn't come on you.
Is that what he does?
Yes, that's what he does. Because, you see, for example, the 18,000 workers in GN Group, he knows everybody because they are on the statistic. Everybody gets paid, however small the money is, but everybody gets a salary.
Small salary?
However small, of course, Ghanaian workers, nurses have not been paid for. Teachers are going on
So you're
strike.
saying he's doing well
at least as a private person with all the doomsaw that we have. And the doomsaw is still going on. Nobody should tell me that doomsaw is over.
Okay.
It's still on. And
I get
so
your point.
we should look from the small level. A man who is able to micromanage these situations. You give somebody told me
on a grander scale we'll manage better.
Of course, because for example, the single spine salary structure.
Echo, that's okay. Take a break.
Okay.
Now, but then, how would you assess Mamsibawa, the Electoral Commission so far? I'm asking this on the back of all the concerns that have been raised by at least the majority of the party, if not the parties, about how the Electoral Commission is not ready in putting together or preparing for the main election in November, and how ultimately, if these things are not solved, could result in something different, other than accepting how credible or not the result should be at the close of, let's say, November 8 or November 9 when the declaration is made.
Yes, Roland. With all said and done, we don't take any grudges with anybody.
You and who?
As CPP, we believe in the process of the Electoral Commission, and we are of the view that given the mandate, elections will be organized in a free, fair, and transparent manner. But all we're saying is Ghanaians have seen enough of the two major forces who have governed and misgoverned us for all these years. It's about time to go back to basics, where it all started from. We have a track record for delivering. And what our leader and flag bearer seems to be talking about is responsive government, responding to the needs of the average Ghanaian wherever they are. Hence, what we are asking Ghanaians to do, especially, Roland, looking at what we have faced in our thank you talk quite recently. We went out, to various regions. We started from the northern region, headed to Upper East, Upper West, Brian Hafo, and Ashanti. In our meetings, we've come to understand that there are people within our midst, people living with disabilities who haven't been brought on board at all, especially the blind, who need Braille in order to get into the electoral process.
Now you're campaigning. I asked you about Electoral Commission. You're campaigning.
Yes, this is their job. is to make sure each and every Ghanaian has access to exercise their franchise.
That point has been made, Mr. Bauer.
Okay. So hence what we asking is to make sure that there's a fair process to admit each and everybody onto the electoral register. And come November 7th, we are of the view, come what may, Ghanaians have seen enough of the two major forces, and under unified umbrella of the CPP, inshallah, we are winning this election.
How would you assess the Electoral Commission so far?
So far, so good.
Would you say they are ready for the election?
More than ready,
Okay.
except making sure the people who have been left out are brought on board fully in order to complement the full
What's your
details.
take?
Well, with all the noise about...
You call it noise, eh?
Yeah, of course. Whether Miss Charlotte Osei should go or should stay and everything. We have been talking about the issue of peace before, during, and after the elections. It is our hope that with whatever register is presented to us, because from every indication, what the PPP is saying, nobody is prepared to listen to. It is our hope that when the elections are over, people now, even before the elections, we are hearing of contract murders and so on and so forth. We hope that after the elections, everybody will be satisfied with the outcome, and that this country will not be plunged into any mayhem because one person feels that the elections have been rigged or the other. That is the only fear that we have. Apart from that, for me, the EC and its machinery today is not credible enough to give us a clean election. And that is the view most of us in the PPP will hold. Some, of course, the PPP...
So you're saying that if the status quo remains, if it's only which party that will be winning?
Well, if the status quo remains, it's the party that has the seeming upper hand. The party that seems to have employed the EC boss. The party that everybody is claiming is bent on rigging the elections because they've not performed properly. It's a party that is in power now. And I won't be surprised if under these circumstances the NDC wins the elections again. But it is our hope that Ghanaians
That will
will
result
change.
a lot of protests from you, the other parties.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. We are asking for the national identification scheme. If it's not happening, for us the elections
won't be credible.
Just be credible. It's as simple as that.
Let's look at this. Barely 48 hours after two of the teacher associations served notice of strike action over non-payment of incremental and salary arrears. The National Association of Graduate Teachers, that is NAGRAT, has also raised the red flags. They could be on strike, joining coalition of teachers, NAT, etc. But the Labour Minister says the government will not be stampeded.
Well, it is difficult to believe anything that ministers from this particular administration say.
Why is that?
This has not been the first time. This strike action started, like years ago, a year or two ago. And the minister will come and swear on his own reputation as a minister and so on and so forth. The question is, what reputation do you have left now? After saying that you're going to make sure this is done every time a new promise comes out. Apart from that, what I seem to realize is that, for example, if I should use the example of even nurses, I'm being told that the registrar for the nurses is a political appointment. And once the person is appointed by a certain authority, you don't bite the hand that feeds you. So there is a bit of a division in the labor front. When senior staff are saying something else, junior staff are saying something else. Recently, the TUC had negotiations with government concerning worker salaries. The question I ask myself is, what has come out of it? What has come out of it? After about a week, the workers were protesting. But as usual, Ghana, we will talk. And then very soon, we have our short memories. And then when the carnage from Kitapo comes and the Fulani headsmen come in, and then the guy who murdered the MP also kicks in, then we forget about everything else. That's what I'm saying. That our leader calls for incorruptible leadership. Leadership that knows that it has to make sure that the ordinary man on the street is also satisfied. Whoever works must be paid his due. Let me ask a question. Any of those ministers out there, which of them have not been paid the last month? The president, has he received the salary of a liar? Can the president tell me that he has not been paid the last month?
Well, a lot of public sector workers have been paid. The majority, I think.
Well, but the teachers, you're not paying the teachers. These are the people who are
They are being
training.
paid. They claim that they have allowances to be paid.
Of course. I mean, have you taken a look at how much they're paid? These are the people who are supposed to prepare the next generation to take up the mantle when one day some of us or all of us or whichever way we have gone, and they are constantly on strike because they also deserve what they get. Teachers will tell you that their rewards are no longer in heaven. The rewards have to be on this earth, because if the president's reward is on this earth, the minister's reward is on this earth, the parliamentarian's reward is on this earth, all the other people are receiving their rewards, land cruisers and things on this earth. Why not the teacher as well? And they say that if you can read this, thank a teacher. And they owe it, even if however small, give them the due respect, even on humanitarian grounds, and make sure that they also get what they want. Otherwise, we will still be getting the kokonte. Where do you come from? I come from Banjasi, teaching that we've been getting since independence till now. If you, Roland, seriously speaking, the people, the graduates and things we're churning out are people who come into the system and they cannot even function. Because even teaching aids, the environment for teaching, the things that we teach our children in schools are not practicable. What is amazing is that when you look at the projects that are going on, like for example, the Circle Flyover, you have
Beautiful flowers.
You have just a few.
There's even one ahead at Kaswa.
Well, I live there. We have a few Brazilian engineers, but majority of the workers there are Ghanaians, which means that if you give the Ghanaian the requisite training, if you give the Ghanaian the requisite discipline
And
logistics, he can build this country.
Equipment.
How can we have University of Science and Technology once in a while the lift at the School of Engineering is not working? Just the lift, common hydraulics, it's not working. And then you expect the pan to come out and to get into the field to be able to, when the Adome Bridge gets spoiled, to be able to go and sit on it and fix
And all this is at the heart of the teacher debate. The teacher
situation, teaching environment. For example, people travel abroad.
Motivating.
People come out and say, "Oh, if they were sitting now and they were teaching their people to sit at one place and be selling pie in the street and running after cars and selling pure water and so on and so forth, would they get to where they are? Where we Ghanaians, as I speak to you right now, Ghanaians have lined up at the various embassies in this country looking for visas to leave. The question you ask yourself is that, what kind of a nation are we building?
They're going for visits.
Well, the visit, you know what kind of visit. When they go there, when they visit, then they get missing, and you have to look for them, because Charlie, the milk and honey which we have been trained with from independence, we are not producing. Like the milk, the chocolate, we are not producing. We only do the raw material and send. And when you go abroad, cocoa, milk is cheaper. It's cheaper to have chocolate in Europe than to have chocolate in Ghana. But this is where the raw material comes from. The question I'm asking myself is that, not only for those of us, and seriously, when you go to the rural areas, they tell us, you are at peace in Accra. You are enjoying in Accra.
They think so.
Yeah, and I tell them that,
we're better off.
Yeah, I tell them that Accra is not Accra, it is I cry. You know, you come here to come and cry.
And the thing for
But
me.
when you say that, they don't believe. And
I see Bawa drawing a pyramid, so I know he's coming up with Maslow hierarchy of needs.
That's right. And so, seriously, like I'm saying, if those who are educating the future are not being attended to, we have a problem.
Okay. Mamsi Bawa, I see you drawing the various steps in the Maslow hierarchy of needs.
Yes, please.
Self-actualization should be up there.
I totally agree with my comrade here, Jones, on most of the issues he's raised. But, Roland, the point comes down to the very structure we have.
Which structure?
In this country.
Is it a state structure or what?
Well, the entire system, so to put it.
And you were drawing something?
Yes, I'm trying to draw something so that at least you can get your cameras to pick it.
Yes, sure. Yeah? When you finish, then
we have more primary education.
Write it there.
More than secondary education up there. You look at the pyramid how it's picked up. There's more secondary education.
So the down is what?
Primary education.
And we have concentration of a lot more pupils.
Thank you. More down there. So it's a system that...
Show it to them so that they see the illustration you're giving.
Let me just quickly...
Write all the things.
Yes.
So that down there we have the primary, concentration of students, and then up there you have the secondary, that is the step after. It's a pyramid though. And then up there you have tertiary.
Universities to tertiary, and then opportunities.
Opportunities. And then the last one.
That's where there's opportunities.
Okay, so tell me
it starts with a system where we have more crutches more than primary education, more primary education more than secondary
And you're
education.
saying that's the current scenario we have?
That is the system
we have. Can you hold it stably so that we can see?
Let me do it properly. Let me do it properly so they can be picked
no,
up.
don't worry. As you talk, just show it so
Yes.
that we let the viewers see the illustration.
Okay.
Yes. So your explanation is, or illustration is down there, we have concentration of a lot more people.
Thank you. So it's a system automatically designed to fail people as they go up the ladder. If you have more students in primary education, prior to getting into secondary where they are told, where they are told, a lot of you are failures, you can no longer continue into the next level. It is a system that is automatically telling us, look, we are sitting on a time bomb. And
what you are drawing shows that we're on a time bomb.
Straight away.
Because that's the current structure with the state of education.
And that system would not help us.
Because it doesn't create the
opportunities for all.
And you can see that the space up there is narrow.
Thank you very much.
It's a pyramid situation.
So if we have a system that continues to fail our young ones before they could even begin to develop their brain to think of what they want to do, then automatically we are sitting on a time bomb.
Yeah.
More primary education more than secondary more than tertiary, tertiary more than opportunities.
And all this so because the teachers are not motivated
Thank
enough.
you. Where would all these people we churning out of our various institutions work?
Yeah.
Hence the reason why we are talking about responsive government.
You are who? You keep saying you
the CPP.
Okay.
Ghana Yawodia, Africa Yawodia, party be anti CPP. This is the genuity of it. So when I continue to say we, it is only one party and the others.
Okay.
So that very system that we've inherited from our colonial masters would not help us. There's a need to break this cycle, tear up the system, and then begin afresh. Create a system where opportunities are created right from onset. If you tell a young man before they get to finish basic education that they are of no use, what's the hope and future for them? And these are the sort of people you see climbing staircases and murdering the very, elite people we have.
That's your last point.
And beyond.
You've gone overboard. Thank you very much. We've had in the studio Mam Sibawa, who is with the Communication Directorate of the CPP and also with the Communication Directorate of the PPP. Is Akon Jones, my good friend Akon Jones. It's been a while.
Yes,
and it's good that you're doing good work for the PPP and would want to have you a lot more in the studio, Akon.
Thank you very much. We need to change our country. I mean, we cannot have the stereotypical kind of politician where people come in here and just come and talk and they go out and continue doing the same thing. I mean, we are getting fed up.
Okay, I just gave you some few seconds. It's okay. You're taking a minute. And that'll be it for AM Talk this morning. As always, you want to get interactive, please make sure you log on to our Facebook page, join us on TV, and also through the WhatsApp number 0560 800,000 for us to get a lot more of your comments coming through. Next, we have to invite into the studio Gladys Oredo. She is coming to bring us a lot more entertainment, and it's brought to you by Atel. To stay on.
teachers are doing the best within the circumstances presented to them. And I'm saying that it's a mirror effect. It's a mirror effect. If you pay people peanuts, then they'll produce monkeys.
Your fast-paced premiere video, online podcast, Touchline just got bigger. Yes, now on television and airing on Fridays between 6:30 and 7 p.m. on the Joy News channel on Multi TV. So join the guys for your succinct analysis of key issues arising in the week on the Big Game Preview. Your complete weekend European football fixtures on PEEP. Learn about the sporting lives of your favorite celebs.
Touchline.
Touchline. Touchline.
Touchline.
Touchline with
George Addo Jr.
Gingham.
On the electrifying E-Chart segment. And have your say on the sidelines. Touchline with George Addo Jr. Now on the Joy News channel on Multi TV, Fridays at 6:30 p.m. Join us next.
Arts and Entertainment is brought to you by
Airtel, the smartphone network.
You see, Airtel Rewards is giving me a free spa treatment. I get treats for using my Airtel line. What about you, man?
Welcome to Airtel Rewards. Use the point you earn every time you call, text or browse to enjoy spa treatment, restaurant treats, discount on car purchases, and so much more. Dial *566# now.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Well, it's Friday and I know you are getting yourselves ready to welcome in the weekend in grand style. But we'll start it right here on the AM show. This is the entertainment segment of the AM show. My name is Gladys Osei Oredu, and guess what? Ghanaian international gospel artist Sonny Badu has asked the public to stop criticizing men of God who lead luxurious lives. According to him, some men of God have difficult times and their extravagant lifestyle is a compensation that God gives to them. And I quote him, "Luxury life in ministry is just the compensation that God gives you after long suffering. So any man of God that you see enjoying a bit of life, don't criticize. Always find out the story behind the glory," Sonny Badu wrote in a Facebook post on Wednesday. He also added, quote, "I knew he was with me when I used to sleep in cars. I knew he was with me when I was homeless. I knew my star would one day shine when my ex's mom saw that broke boy and warned me never to step foot in their house. It was part of